All right, you guys, how
Hey,
are y'all doing
I,
tonight? We are live. Hey, how you doing?
I'm good.
How are you? I'm glad to have you a part of this stream tonight.
I am glad to be part of it.
Awesome, awesome. So tonight, as I said, the conversation is going to be about spiritual alignment.
Okay, your audio is dipping.
Huh?
Your audio is dipping. We cannot hear.
You can't hear me?
Yeah, it did for a little bit.
Okay, let me see.
Mhm. Mm.
Hello, hello,
Right,
hello.
sounding a
So,
little better.
okay, cool beans. So now that we got you connected, how are you doing today?
I am good.
Awesome. So, do you want to tell the people about who you are and what you represent?
Okay, well, I am the Uno. I am from Trinidad. I'm a teacher. I'm a writer.
Yes.
Uh, I just love performing. Last Thursday with on Dylan's show with Queen because
Hmm.
her poems, a lot of them, literally resonate with me.
Awesome, awesome. And so, again, we're going to be talking about spiritual alignment and aligning yourself with people, places, and things that resonate with your spirit and what ultimately is for your divine purpose. Um, and so, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and get started, if that's okay with you.
Of course.
All right. So, tell me about your experiences with the spiritual alignment.
Okay, well, I will say that basically I believe there's a God, but I don't believe in religion. So what I will say also is like for me, spirituality is how you could deal with yourself, your empathy for others, and what you feel when they feel. How do you actually deal with certain situations and try to not really take over or over talk or even advice, but try to listen because I know how it is to be in certain places in your own head. So we always have to deal with that part of the spirituality, only the physical air, but listening to what is not being said. What so we
Hmm.
could actually help others, like even simple things. Because
Hmm.
also I will say I
Hmm.
have these kind of deja vu premonition dreams overly come true. Could only be done is once you intertwine with your own self and your spirituality for those messages to come true.
Right. Right. And so I know that as far as like you being a teacher and that you're able to see things and dream things and you know what I mean and your spirit is like guiding you to certain circumstances, warnings and different stuff like that.
Yes.
Um which is amazing because a lot of people don't really have that type of awareness or insight. You know what I mean? Like they ask for it, they pray for it, and they look for it. But God reveals himself to whom he chooses to. And so,
Exactly.
say that again.
I said exactly.
Yes. And so for him to reveal himself to you and show, like, you know what I mean, different things of your future, what's to come, what's to happen, warnings and different things of that such is an amazing thing. Now, with spiritual alignment, again, I believe that is aligning ourselves with things that are meant for us and on our path. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, even though we may have this plan or we may have this desire, but at the end of it all, it's the spirit that leads us. It's the spirit that connects us with, you know what I mean? Okay, I'm going to go left. Now, when I go left, now I'm going to run into the Uno. You know what I'm saying? And me and the Uno are going to have a great conversation.
Yeah, yeah. Because you know how you say just said make your plan, right?
Right.
You know this saying, if you want God to laugh, you just make your plan.
That's
Because
right.
because his plan is not your plan.
That's right. That's right. And I've definitely heard that saying as far as like, if you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. Because
Mhm.
at the end of the day, his plan is not our plan. And what we choose to do and what we want to do in our life has nothing to do with what God has planned for us. And so
Mhm.
sometimes, even though we think it is in our own will and in our own way and in our own desire, it's really God feeding us. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like amazing.
Yeah, because
Amazing.
because as I said, even like I am sure you could attest to this as a poet
Hmm.
yourself, that we may be deciding on one way for our poems to even go, but
Hmm.
then something else God will just put in front of us, and we have to change our entire writing because
Right.
He wants us through our writing. This is where God will shine because uh, people have to realize it's not me, but
Hmm.
it is what God wants us to be. Who
Hmm.
God show the world we are, and what is the strength we can get, not from ourselves, but from God and even the other
Right.
people. Us.
Right. And I believe that. You know what I mean? Even though it's God, He shows us many things, He teaches us many things, and it's up to us to be able to recognize that, okay, that's God. You know what I mean? Sometimes we get into a point of where we're operating in just what we want or what we think, in our flesh, and you know what I mean, not realizing that we're being led down a path,
Mm-hmm.
um with spiritual alignment. I do believe that it is important for us to connect with those things that connect with us, resonate with those things that resonate with us. I feel like a lot of our hardship comes from us going against the grain, um, us aligning with people and things that don't mean us no good. Forcing the issue, you know what I'm saying? And so for us, because we're going against the grain and it's not natural. So you're coming up against different things that you shouldn't be going up against in the first place. But at the same time, you know what I mean? Like, it's just not the natural flow.
True. Yeah. Because we have to always be on top of who we are first before we can even say we want to help someone else, because and then there's the flip side where we learn about ourselves
Mm-hmm.
when we are helping others. And in a bad situation, there's
Mm-hmm.
always some form of goodness and light that will reflect us.
Right.
We didn't go through that, uh, we may not even be or reach where we want, because everything always happens for a reason.
That's
And
right.
things we question things, but it's not our answer. We just have to accept what that happened and try to move with it. Uh, um, they will say we always have to be liquid. I will say because of as they say, they have the three states of matter: solid,
Right.
liquid, gas. But now in science, there is the fourth state, which is plasma. So I believe we have to be in that fourth state, plasma, because we have to be able to hold who we are while moving with the vibe of someone else.
Right. Right. Because at that time, when when we're dealing with other people, other energies, other spirits, and things like that, we do have to be careful, because sometimes we take
Mhm.
on that energy, sometimes we take on that spirit, and it's not for us. Which at the end of it all, it throws us out of alignment. You know what I mean? Because now you're operating out of order. Now you're operating in a spirit or energy that isn't for you. That's kind of like when you're riding down the road and somebody cut you off. And when they cut you
Mhm.
off, you start yelling and cussing and fussing, and now you're upset. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it wasn't meant to make you upset. You know what I mean? But you're upset, and now you're riding down this road in this energy of being angry, aggravated, frustrated, and so many more emotions. But at the end of it all, what it does is it knocks you off of your corner. It knocks you
Mhm.
off of your post from where you're supposed to be and how you're supposed to be operating. So by the time you get to where you're going, you still got this nasty negative energy that's holding you like a fucking blanket, you know? And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, it takes a conscious decision to say, I don't want to I don't want to walk in that. I don't want to hold that. I had a conversation with someone today and they were just like, well, if someone's yelling at you, trying to express themselves, how would you respond? And I said, well, you know what? The first thing I'm going to say is calm down. Calm
Yeah,
down.
we have.
Because I don't want to take on that energy. I don't want to take on that perspective. I don't want to take on that alignment to where I'm operating in the low vibration that you're operating in. What I'm going to do is call your attention to what's going on and bring you up to mine. Because if I'm not yelling at you and I'm not cussing and fussing at you, then you shouldn't be cussing and fussing at me, right?
Mhm.
We should be two
Yeah,
adults that
but
should be able to conversate on the level of we're not disrespecting each other, you know?
but then you have to realize too, right? Even though they are not cussing or fussing, there are some who knows the nice way to push your buttons.
Yes.
Yeah. And when you retaliate, because
Mm-hmm.
if somebody keeps pushing and pushing,
Mm-hmm.
they seem, oh, I wasn't saying nothing, but
Mm-hmm.
you will look like the bad one in the long run, because
Yes.
you're to that limit where you couldn't take it. So I will say it is easier said than done, especially
Right.
for those who could use their eloquence and their linguistics to push you to that point.
Exactly. So what now? As a spiritual leader, because I know that you do a lot of teaching, you do a lot of guiding with, you know what I mean, your peers and
Mm-hmm.
subordinates. What are some ways that you use that allows you to be aligned with your spirit in the proper guidance?
Hmm. Well, for me, what I usually do,
Hmm.
listen to music is one
Okay.
of the major things for me.
Yes.
And the one is I would usually, but now finances are a little bit thick, and so I used to do something called movie Saturday, where I will just go to the cinema
Okay.
and do it. But now the good thing is, I try to do it at home in my own room
Hmm.
with services. And the third thing that I do is the writing.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Because the first thing I'll do is write. Because for me, it allows for me to see it plain and clear. Regardless of what
Mm-hmm.
I think or what I feel at that time, I'm able to express it in its rawness. You know what I'm saying? And from there, I
Mm-hmm.
can analyze it. I can think about it. I can process it to where, like, okay, I know that I may want to do A, B, and C and D, but it's not plausible for me to do A, B, and C because of D, C, E, and F. You know what I'm saying? And so I definitely agree with that. I resonate with that wholeheartedly because, you know what I mean? As you know, I'm a poet. I like to write. That's
Mm-hmm.
my best way to express because for me, it's like I don't have to justify. I don't have to explain. It just is what it is. And the way that it comes
Mm-hmm.
out or the way that it comes down, that's the realness of what's in my heart. Excuse me. So like when I'm writing and when I'm expressing, you know what I mean, it allows for me to get back to that grounding point of okay, is this really for me and is this really for my best? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
The point of spiritual alignment is to get to your best, to get what's for your best, for your betterment, whether in that moment or in that journey. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
so sometimes some of us are visualists to where we have to see it. We have to
Yeah.
see it. We have
Yeah.
to be able
Yeah.
to map it out all together. Some of us are visionaries where, you know what I mean, like, you know, an idea, a thought, or whatever. But for the most part, you know, the point is to get where we need to be so that we can begin to align ourselves with our greater purpose, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because one of the things I like to do, honestly, is they will say not only visualize, but I am one of them. Because if I don't know if you saw the Spider-Man Way Home, where
Uh-huh.
Michelle said, um, if you expect disappointment, you'll never be disappointed. That
Okay.
is that is how I actually look at things. Unless I already have it in my hand, then I will say yes, I have it. But I am not going to wait to yeah, oh yeah, you got this, but it's not in my hand. You could send me a picture that I
Uh-huh.
have it. You could unless it's in my hand and I know I could touch it, just like doubting
Uh-huh.
Thomas. I need to put my hand in the wounds. I need to forget even putting my hand in the wounds. I need a DNA test.
Yeah.
that's that's how I am with a lot of things now because certain things I will see and I'm sure you'll see too and hear it. when people want, they will say, "Oh, so." Okay, that sounds nice, but not until I have it, then I will say I have it.
Right. Right. And so, and that definitely makes sense because some people are where I got to see it in order to believe it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, um, I mean, and I get that, but for me, like you said, it's just kind of a process of where as long as I could see it and I could feel it, then at that time I could definitely manifest those things. You know what I mean? Like I can make it real for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even with like, and I believe like so like with being able to align ourselves with certain things that we desire. You know what I mean? Like that we choose to make. It starts right here.
Mm-hmm.
Before you ever see it, before you ever feel it, before you ever touch it, before you ever taste it, it starts here. It's a thought, it's a feeling, it's a desire that you want to see come forth. You know what I'm saying? Now, like everybody have their own methods for aligning themselves spiritually. But in your opinion, what do you believe would be helpful for somebody who's looking at this video and they say, okay, how do I align myself spiritually with the things that I have here in my heart?
Well, I will say first of all, you have to believe it because without your own belief that you already have it, you
Hmm.
be able to say it. And then
Right.
one thing I am always told
Hmm.
um, is be careful what you speak into the world or what you write into the world because a lot of them, like say, because this is one like for me and everybody will get vexed with me. When I will say, "Oh, uh, no, I don't believe in love. I'm dying alone." They say never say that because that is speaking negativity into your own life.
Right. Right.
So, yeah, as I say, just be careful what you speak about, not only yourself, but about someone else. Because,
Right.
um, like, example was I made a joke while I was teaching at one of the schools and say that it was this teacher who wasn't anything else. So I made a joke. Oh, don't worry, he'll be a principal as a joke. She was the first person to tell me never put those type of things because that could happen and it will have very negative effects, especially if you're putting somebody who is in a negative with a negative
Right. Right.
in a position of a
Hmm.
even a joke.
Hmm.
So I I have, as I say, the tongue is the sharpest sword you have.
And see, yes, that's exactly where I was going because I believe
Okay. Again, I can't hear you.
oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So, and I agree because my thing is, in order for us to spiritually align ourselves with things that are meant for us, we have to first begin with how we're speaking. We have to first begin with what we're talking because at that time, the words that we're coming out of our mouth are creating our reality. So if you're saying I'm in a period of distress or that I'm in a moment of brokenness or I'm in a moment of sadness, that's exactly what you're going to see. And so I
Mm-hmm.
do believe 100% wholeheartedly that the things you're speaking, the things that are coming out of your mouth, is what you're going to see. So if you're wanting to be spiritually aligned to what God has for you and for what's your main goal or your purpose or anything that you're wanting to see come forth, You have to speak about those things, and in a positive way, not in a way that is detrimental to what you're trying to do, and definitely not in a way that's going to undermine your plan or what you're trying to set forth. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, because as yeah, I heard you say like religion and spirituality, right? One of
Mhm.
the things, if and I will break it down like this. If you look at every one of these holy books, what they say, the
Mhm.
Quran, Bhagavad Gita, the Torah, if you
Mhm.
take away the God aspect out of that, or what people perceive God to be, because right now a lot of people are not making God in they are making God in their image. They are not being in the image of God.
Right.
Will give you a direction of how to live with each other, how to
Mhm.
take care of the environment, how to take care of animals, how to take care of everything.
Right.
Uh, when you have to really put a religion into it, that is
Mhm.
dividing and quarreling of this God aspect they made,
Mm.
not what a true God is, or
Right.
God want us to be
Right.
spirituality. Because in the Bible they say, when I was hungry, you fed me. When you think, but when did we do that? I was the one who went prisoner and he fed me.
But I think it really scares people because also it says that we are made in his image. And so when it
Mm-hmm.
says that we are made in his image, that means we got the same power. We have
Mm-hmm.
the same authority. And so when they see someone that's operating in that power and in that authority, it kind of like it's it's fearful for them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, well, am I going against God or do I have the right? And it's like, well, hell yeah. You know what I mean? When you think about who God is and what he was able to do and all the power that he possessed, and to know that we have that same power, the same, you know what I mean? When he created the earth, guess what? It only took for him to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It only took for him to say, "Let there be light," and there was
Mm-hmm.
light. Let the heavens and the earth separate. Let the ocean separate from the earth. You know what I'm saying? Like that was him believing in what he was talking about for it to come forth as such. You know what I'm saying? And it's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing with alignment, aligning yourself with things that you want to see. Listen, I want a good man. I want a man that's going to love me and take care of me and be concerned about who I am and the things that I have going on, and to
Mm-hmm.
not feel as if, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
so those are things that I have to speak. But if I'm sitting here saying, okay, every man that I meet is trash, guess what I'm going to see? Trash
Mm-hmm.
ass men. You know what I'm saying? But that's a part of that aligning yourself because it all starts with your words. Your words create your reality.
Mm-hmm. You could speak life or you could speak death into the situation.
That's right. That's right. I 100% agree. You can either speak wealth or you can speak poverty. You know what I'm saying? I understand that everybody goes through what they go through. And of course, you know what I'm saying? You're going to talk about what you're going to talk about. But at the end of it all, what is the message that you're putting forward? You know what I mean? Well, okay, well, this is my situation for today, but I'm working to better that. I'm working to
Mm-hmm.
change that, or this is what I'm doing actively to come out of that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mm-hmm.
it definitely makes a difference, especially when you're trying to align yourself with your will and your divine path for what you're supposed to carry out for this lifetime. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because Well, I'm a Catholic by religion, but I have not been to church when I
Mm-hmm.
seen. But one thing that I learned, and this is why I'll say I am a Catholic, but not a practicing Catholic, because there was
Okay.
one thing they said is when the evangelicals and these other Christian faiths, they'll say, "Oh, I am saved." The Catholic will say, "I am not saved, but I am a work in progress to be saved," because we falter
That's it.
every single day. We- Because
Yes.
as they say, who is without sin cast the first stone. But we can't even say that because we might have something in our heads, a disagreement with someone. We might
That.
think that somebody else have, and we jealous. So we are always a work in progress, and no matter what we're doing, because going back to the poetry aspect, you could have a perfect piece, but you can always find somebody who has a piece better than yours. And instead of
Yeah.
angry or thing, you could actually try to reach out and learn from that person. Because as
Mm-hmm.
the latest pieces, I literally said to rise up, you have to each one bring one. And so we could actually get on that higher aspect because we leave no one
That's
behind.
that's right. And that's 100% true. You know what I'm saying? Like everything is like as far as perspective. You know what I mean? Like if you feel as if you're in a perspective or of poverty, of a perspective of down and out or anything, that's what you're going to see. And that's where you're going to operate. And that's where you're going to manifest from a spirit of poverty. You know what I'm saying? But if I
Mhm.
feel as if, okay, you know what I mean? I'm a spirit in a physical in a human experience, and this is just something that I have to go through to get to where I need to be. Then at that time, you know what I mean, you're identifying what you're going through, but at the same time, you're not placing yourself in that vibration, you know. And I agree with that 100% because just because we're going through things or just because this is where we're at doesn't mean that that is our final destination.
Mhm. Exactly. Because as the days go by, we are the ones who have to choose the path we want to walk down.
That's right.
We could choose the path that lead us, and not only us, because when we going into the sphere, we have to think about, as they always say with the mental health,
Hmm.
how many people are we taking with us? Because we can't say that we doing it alone, but there's at least one
Right.
person who will always try to reach out. But if you do that and something happens and you try to X out everyone, there will
Hmm.
still be people on your side, but you just too blind to understand what that is, who they
Right.
are. So we have to really, as you said, take a step back. We have to see what is going on
And at that time, we have
in
to
life.
take our feelings out of it because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes, even though our feelings are into it, and it's like, okay, this is what I feel, you have to be able to operate from a logical standpoint of, okay, well, maybe this isn't a good idea, or maybe this isn't for the best. You know what I'm saying? But that goes back to aligning spiritually, connecting with those things that connect with you,
Mm-hmm.
resonating with those things that resonate with you. um it's, I mean, I hate to say that it's a feeling, but it really is a feeling because at that time that's a part of your discernment. That's a part of your, you know what I mean, your connection to that spirit to know, okay, hey, listen, hey, this just don't feel right. You know what I'm saying? Or hey,
Mm-hmm.
this just doesn't, it's not agreeing with what I got going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I know
Because
sometimes
uh,
we can be
I,
stubborn, sometimes we get willful and what we want and trying to make it what we want it to be. But a lot of the times it's simply about natural progression. Simple.
mhm. Yeah, and because our aura is what draw people to us. Because you don't even have to say a word. You don't even have to be facing someone, but someone will be drawn to you for some reason, and they just wouldn't know. And then
Yeah.
when you could either own what you're doing, or if you disown it, you
Hmm.
don't know the blessing you might be getting
Yeah.
straight away.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Any tools or anything that you specifically, I mean, like, because, like you said, sometimes it's just about being drawn to it. Me personally, I believe in order to be spiritually aligned, you have to have a spirit of discernment. You have to have that
Mhm.
connection with self and with God to be able to say, okay, this feels right. You know what I'm saying? Spiritual
Yeah.
alignment is not about black and white and yes and no and left and right. It's about resonating with things and people that feels right, that feels
Mhm.
good in your spirit, and you know, okay, this is where I need to be. This is what I need to be doing. This is the path that I should be on. I just want to know what's your opinion about it. What do you think that
Yeah.
will allow somebody to look at any situation or circumstance and say, okay, this is what I should be doing? And if they don't know tools that they can have to where they can get to that point.
Mhm. Well, I actually, um, people say, "Oh, I'm so judgmental," but it is. I will actually try to read you and use
Hmm.
God speak to me to say if this person is good or if this thing I'm doing is right.
Hmm.
Because friends, I'll meet like certain friends and think, yes, uh, certain people say, no, 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 don't talk to X because so. But I will still be drawn to them. As I say with myself, I could agree with you, but when it cross that point, I will just be like a talking head to you, but I am not going to go over. I will just be an acquaintance, and that's about it. I will never say align myself with you. And then it has some people who I am drawn to and
Yeah.
have that magnetic thing to say, yes, just hold on to that person. Don't ever
Yeah.
let them go. So I will say, as you say, uh, I wouldn't even use the word pray. I'll say, talk to God like if He's right in front of you and make it a friend ship and discussion, not even like a prayer. Because as I say, a lot of people
Hmm.
will, yes, they're praying, but are they really praying PRAYING or are they PREYING? Okay.
Right. And for me, I feel like it's for me, like to get that, I have to write it out. I have to
Mm-hmm.
see it. I have to visualize it. You know what I mean? In order for me to
Mm-hmm.
align myself spiritually, you know what I'm saying? Like it just have to make sense. You know what I'm saying? Like that writing for me is just rationalizing what I feel in my heart and in my spirit.
Mhm.
When I was about what I would say 14, 15, that would be my prayer. God, give me the spirit of discernment. But see, the spirit of discernment, what they don't tell you is it come with a lot more than yes and no.
Mhm.
It
Exactly.
comes
Yeah,
with a lot more. So, like,
yeah.
at that time, he'll put you in positions and situations to exercise that muscle of discernment of, okay, this isn't the right idea, this isn't for you, or this doesn't go with who you are, different things, you know what I'm saying? And so, like, we could say, yes, Lord, give me discernment, but at the same time, if it doesn't make sense, hey, that's the beginning of
Yeah. Because I'm trying to remember
alignment.
what a movie, and in the line, and this one resonates with me.
Hmm.
I ask God for patience, but He never gave you that
He gave you problems. Mm.
the situation to be patient in. So with discernment,
Yes.
he won't give you what is discernment. He given you the place to discern and use it even without knowing you have it already. Because we all have
Yeah.
this in us, but it's the situation we are in will bring it out always.
Yes. And that's usually how it goes. Cause I heard a saying before, I asked God for wisdom and he gave me a bunch of problems. But it's like, how do you know how to be wise if you never had to go through it? It doesn't come to you
Mm-hmm.
overnight. It's a muscle that you have to continue to work and you got to continue to use and operate in order to know how to use it. That's just like with any machine or any electronic device. You don't know how to use it until you're having to operate it on a constant level. You know what I'm saying? On a
Mm-hmm.
basis of where you become more familiar with operating it. Some
Mm-hmm.
people are skilled to where, okay, after one or two times they know what they're doing. But a lot of us, we have to keep on, keep on, keep on in order to
Mm-hmm.
be able to operate whatever it
Yeah,
is, that
because
device, that machine, or
yeah,
whatever. And no
yeah.
different
Well,
from art.
I'm going to go a little more closer to home and better closer to the kitchen, because if you want to make any recipe,
Mm-hmm.
you have to realize that, and this is a joke I like to always use.
Mm-hmm.
Um, some people could use a recipe, or somebody like me, I just do not like to read the recipes. I like to invent my own stuff. So
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember where I heard the joke. Well, how do you know how much salt to put in? Well,
Right.
I just wait for the ancestors to talk to me and say, child,
Right.
off. so,
I
so
mean, and that's true because how else will you know how to do it if you've never done it before?
yeah,
And
exactly.
that's the
So
point of it. Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
and that is spirituality at work, because we
Yeah.
have to see this situation. What am I going through? Why am I going through it? But then realize that God is literally saying, child, you are in control because I am in control of you. I wouldn't lead you astray. I wouldn't give you anything that you cannot handle. Pull up and just take your breaths and just
That's
open your
right.
eyes and know what I want you to do. Just follow
That's
my
right.
guide as the poem, the oh gosh, I can't remember the one where the set foot. Oh yeah, footprints
Mm-hmm.
and everything going on. There was only one set of footprints. I was in a cloud. God said no. I was holding you, and
That's right.
on walking.
Yes. Yes. When you were too weak to carry on and you were
Mm-hmm.
too tired.
Well,
And I understand that because sometimes
mm-hmm,
we do go through things where we're just tired. You know what I'm saying? Like we're
mm-hmm,
just overwhelmed, we're overworked, and like, look, Lord, I can't do no more than what I've done. And you're right, He will carry us. He will. But again, it just all ties back into that spiritual alignment to where
mm-hmm,
we as believers and we as children, we know to say, look, Lord, I need your help.
mm-hmm.
I can't do this
Yeah,
by myself. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, because
I need you to come through and make a move on my
mhm,
behalf.
yeah, because what story from the Bible comes back to me, and that one is, why don't you have a your faith like the mustard seed to move your mountains?
Mm, mm,
And that is what our faith have to be, because as I say, no matter the religion, no matter how you
yeah,
call God, what name you use, there's only one God.
that's
There
right.
are billions of us, but
Yeah.
he literally, I will say, he comes like a plate. Yes, say we are rice, and if one grain falls off, he will literally pick us back up and put us on that plate to carry to wherever he is going. He will
Mm,
never leave us to
that's right.
rot. He wouldn't do anything, but he knows we are his. He
That's
knows
right.
that we are the ones who have to help each other too, because
That's right.
yeah, because I'm a foodie, so that's why I'm using a lot of um, cookery thing. Because if you even look at rice in a pot
Hmm.
or plate, not all of them are loose. A lot of them will actually stick together, and we like it, but it have a reason for that, because together it actually will look like more food we have. So
Right.
what God wants of us, to hold each onto each other, because yes, we know how when you have rice it will be spilling all over, but the ones that
Hmm.
together actually sit on the plates.
Right.
So that is another metaphor I could think of.
I agree. I agree. Which is amazing, you know what I mean? Sometimes we just have to put our flesh to the side, put our thoughts to the side, and really just operate in that spirit, you know what I mean? Lord, I trust you. Whatever you have for me
Mhm.
and whatever's to come, you know what I mean? I accept it wholeheartedly, because I know that at the end of the day, you would have put on me more than I could bear. And if anything that I have to endure is for my betterment and not for my detriment. You know what I'm saying? And again, it still all ties back to spiritual alignment, because at that time we're aligning ourselves with God's will for our life and what's the best
Mhm.
for our lives. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Even if we don't have all the answers, we don't know today from tomorrow. But at the end of it all, God knows, you know?
Of course, because as we said earlier, eh, if we want God to laugh, just make our plan, and He will show you. No, no, no. I have a better one for you.
That's right.
Because I will say, and I'll take the 3 weeks ago we had a major flood. I was so angry and everything about it. Only to realize when one of the appliances went down, I was so angry. Oh my gosh, I have to find money. But the good thing is it was under warranty. So
Mm-hmm.
the checker, they say yes, we have to replace the entire refrigerator. And what happened was the flood literally shook the fridge a little bit to fault. If that didn't happen, I would have really had to spend loads of money to replace that refrigerator.
Mm-hmm.
So when you think something is bad happening to you, is this that silver lining. It happened because you have to just wait for that because to happen so we can realize. Because
Yeah.
you will be aggravated, you'll be quarreling with God why you make this happen. But
Mm-hmm.
certain when he put an obstacle, same thing as we were saying, we will want to when we're in traffic or somebody gives us a drive or something. Maybe that was to teach us something. Maybe if 2 minutes earlier, something worse would have happened to us. So we really have to be aligned with God to know that He is doing it for us at His time. We have to
Mm-hmm.
just work along with God, not question every move and why this didn't happen then, but it happening now.
That's it. That's it. I 100% agree. And I thank you for coming on and chatting with me about spiritual alignment because in my heart, I truly believe that if we're alchemy with what God has for us, it doesn't do anything but promote what we're trying to do. I find that a lot of times that what our will is not the same as what God wants for us. And so a lot of times we receive a lot more pain and hardship than what we should do because we're going against the grain. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? And so the point of this video is really to allow us to connect with what God has for us and to allow us to be more prosperous, to be more successful, and to be better off than experiencing hardship, pain, disappointment, and a lot of things because sometimes it wasn't even meant for us to go through. You know what I'm saying? But because
Mhm.
we chose some things that wasn't for our path, that we're having to deal with the consequences of those choices.
Yeah, because that all leads back to the story of Jonah. He wants to do his own thing.
Yeah,
He wants to say God, but he found a way to bring him back to the place he has to be.
yeah, yeah. Amazing. Amazing.
Mhm.
But God is amazing, and I love the path that you know what I mean. As far as for us, that He's laid out for us, because at that time we're able to connect with each other. We're able to bring somebody else along and allow them to be aware of those things that are not spiritually aligned for us. If you ever have to question about whether you're spiritually aligned with some things, definitely pay attention. If it's harder than what you think, if you're giving way more energy than you should be giving, and it's you know what I mean, it's taking out a lot more than what you expected, chances are it's probably not for your good. You know what I'm saying? But anything that's for us and
Yeah.
that's on our path is smooth, is gel, and is a complete, you know what I mean? Not saying it won't be issues or there won't be problems, but for the
Mhm.
most part, those problems will work themselves out. And at the end of it all, you'll see that you're better after those problems than before. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Yes, because I will give one personal story. I literally dropped out my master's degree because I was being stressed out. Then a couple professors,
Hmm.
they didn't believe my work was my work, but when they interviewed, they realize that it's all mine. So they end up
Mhm.
failing me by thing. Then one of the papers I wrote, one professor literally said,
Mhm.
"Why do you think in the where we are, we'll need so much computers because people will need to be at home to work and because in a classroom setting." And he let me have it. This was in 2019. Not knowing what's coming in 2020, then I realized and I was laughing. I literally left the masters and said, you know what? Forget about it. God will deal with what he wants me to deal with. And seeing that something similar to what I had in mind with COVID and everybody in the world had to be online. I was like,
Yeah.
you doubting because God will give me an inspiration to write this paper. And it's so fascinating that it came true, not how I thought it would, but it did. Yeah, you're back.
Somebody started dialing me, so it kind of messed up my connection. But yes, I am back.
Okay. Yeah. So, as I say, God will inspire anything we write, anything we say, but we just know that yes, it is for us. Do not despair because sometimes leaving something you don't like, although you have to go through it because everybody else wants you to do it. You have to
Mhm.
do it for yourself. Is it for me? Does God really want me on that path, or is that something I doing it because of somebody else?
Yeah,
And once you align yourself to knowing this is what God wants me to do, then it will happen.
that's right. Everything will happen, and it'll be in its perfect timing, in its perfect course, and it wouldn't be, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be hard. It'd just be simple, easy,
Mhm,
and like just natural. You know what I mean? I agree with that 100%.
mhm. Yeah, because as we all say, is what will be done. Because I will say this one was like one of my visions leading 2020. I was having a grand old time because I went on vacation to Antigua, but on the literally New Year's Day, when after the ball, whatever, I went back to my room.
Mhm.
I literally was had the dream where I saw the Garden of Gethsemane in a
Mhm.
dream, like you know how we all see it in the movies for the Passion of Christ. I literally saw that in a dream, and I actually was hearing where God, Jesus was saying,
Mhm.
"If this is my path, let it pass. But if it is for me, let your will be done, not mine."
Right. Right.
Not even
Amen.
realizing what was coming. All I know, something bad was coming. And I'll go back to way back to MySpace days in 2009. I had a similar dream when I for New Year's 2009 2010 um, that something is going to happen bad in the Caribbean. I don't know which part of the Caribbean, but I am
Mhm.
seeing earthquake and a lot of devastation.
Mhm.
Only a few months after was the Haiti earthquake. So these are like some of the things that I will literally be dreaming it. I mean,
Right.
know exactly what is going to happen, but the discernment God gives, just know to prepare yourself for what is going to happen.
That's it. That's it. I
Mhm.
100% agree. I thank you for joining on my live tonight. I definitely enjoyed the conversation. I feel as if, you know what I mean, we
Mhm.
definitely covered a lot, and that anybody watching it will have no choice but to be more aware after, you know what I mean, just the candid conversation from what to look for, what to expect, how to proactively align yourselves, and to, you know what I mean, be mindful of what you're aligning to.
Mhm.
Um, it's just been an amazing conversation this night altogether.
Yes. And I love the change from the talking and doing poetry to this lovely conversation.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I, I hope I could be back soon. I'm in,
Yes, yes,
well,
of course.
as I say, my time will be okay to be anytime after the middle of October. I could do another show. So,
Yes,
and as I meeting all my poetry people, I say one day we might even be able to do something as a collab.
yes, I would definitely love to have you back on for future shows because, again, with the amount of knowledge and wisdom that you possess, and that's just knowledge and wisdom. That has nothing to do with spiritual gifts and talents that God has blessed you with.
Mm-hmm.
That makes you very knowledgeable on so many different levels and so many different subjects that it would be remiss that we don't bring you back and that we
Mm-hmm.
don't have that opportunity to pick
Yeah.
your brain to be able to
Yeah.
make it plain and known for our viewers.
Yeah. Because as the another thing with where the Catholics will say it a little differently. In the what is known as the Christmas story, the greatest thing that could have been done was when Mary said yes to giving Jesus. So,
Mm.
so well, I will remix
Meaning
it.
she had to accept that. She had to say, yes, I'm willing to do this.
Yes.
But at the same time, aligning herself spiritually with what was destined for her path. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
imagine had she said no.
exactly. Because we all have to realize that sometimes, as I said, Judas, which is who is one of the worst disciples, you
Hmm.
also have to consider without him aligning to say, "Yes, I will betray Jesus," what would have happened?
Yeah,
Because he, yes, he is the anti-hero in that story because have to ask, okay, if Judas said no, everything that happened after the Last Supper, or what would have happened if he said no? How would that reach the world? How, what would have been the next step?
yeah,
So, so we have to see, even the heroes and anti-heroes have a reason. We have to
yeah,
realize what is our reason to do things and how we could say yes and know that it is the right yes.
yes, yes. I love it. And I appreciate this dialogue. Like, OMG. Like, you really have no idea. Because although we talk about these subjects and we bring up these different things, for me, it's personally bringing me back to my own perspective and allowing me to be able to apply these things to my everyday. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, I mean, when you think about some of the things that we've discussed, you know what I'm saying? Like, it really just brings it home. I truly do appreciate you for coming on and sharing your wisdom with not only just me, but my audience as well.
Yes, I am glad to be here, and I will be glad to even because you will have my website. If anybody wants to reach out via that, they could feel free because I do have a comment section where if they just want to say hello, they could um, type it and I will receive it.
That's it. That's it. But
Yeah,
we do
because as they
appreciate.
say, discussion is what will all make us a friend.
That's it. Mm, 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 Amazing. Just amazing. I love it. Uh, Lord, 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 Lord. He is truly amazing. And I love everything about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, uh, I'm full over here. I don't know about you, but
Mhm. Yes,
spiritually, I am full. Like, this really
yeah,
fed my soul.
yes,
And I appreciate you.
yeah, yeah, because this was just the battery recharge we needed.
That's right. Just to keep us going, just to keep us on our path, and just to
Mhm.
give us that hope and that promise of tomorrow, right?
Yes. Well, to quote of my favorite movies, Annie from Annie, the sun will come out tomorrow. Come.
Amen. Amen. Well, I thank you for coming. You have an amazing night. Okay.
You too, and to all the fans, have a good and blessed week. Have a blessed year, and
Yes.
have a blessed life.
Yes. Same to you, tenfold.
Yeah, because one thing I want to plug is something that is in the works, which is in my back screen.
Mhm.
As I say, I am challenging myself with some new different type of poetry where it's love poetry. So I
That's it.
finished only my first piece, but I'm already looking at the this as being the book title.
Ah,
Yes, I love you. Ain't that the
amazing.
worst thing you ever heard?
Amazing. Do it again. Show us again.
Yes.
Ah,
So manifested from early, as we just say, align ourselves with what we want next.
amazing. Just so amazing. I truly appreciate you from the bottom of my heart. Like,
Yes. And God really uh, put us in the places we need to be, no matter the part of the world.
that's it. Well, you have a great night, okay?
All right. Have a good
You
night.
too. You too. All right, you guys. It has been an amazing night talking about this spiritual alignment.
Try to
I
catch up
thank
to our mind.
God for just all the
Floating on a
knowledge
going
and
line.
understanding that He's given us.
Running past the
And
finish
so, with
line.
that, we're going to call it a night on a
Manifest is
high
so
note.
divine.
Good night.
So I'm gon' pop my shit. We in this bitch, you know we lit. We in this bitch, you know we lit.